Am I saying that I don't want you to be with a black man? Not at all.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Alright lovelies, let's get into the video.
So lovelies, I posted a video yesterday where a lady was, asking the reason why it's so difficult to date a black guy. And I came across this video where this black guy actually explained the reason why it's very difficult to date a black guy. Then he proceeds to tell ladies what to check out in a guy before actually dating or going out with a guy. Guys, I'm just gonna roll the clip as well as the stitches. Of course, people will stitch this video, so I'm just gonna roll the clip as well as the stitches I was able to put together. So please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think, if you are agreeing with him or disagreeing. Alright lovelies, let's get into it.
Girl, black men are the hardest group of men to date. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the divorce rates. Black men that marry black women get a divorce rate that's at 100% higher than the average. Black men that marry white women are at a 200% divorce rate increase. Black women that date non-black men are anywhere from 20 to 44% less in divorce rate. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because most black women are dating and marrying black men, and there are certain challenges involved with that I think are important, so I wanted to share those with you so you understood. Am I saying that I don't want you to be with a black man? Not at all. 2/3 of my clients actually end up with black men, but I want to make sure that you're vetting them very well so that you get healthy, healed black men. Okay, so what am I talking about? First, let's talk about mom. Girl, in the 90s, 75% of the households, black households, were single mother households. So black men generally have two relationships with their mother. Either they were a mesh, so entitled, and they think that they're the prize, and they are looking for women to be mothers, or their mother was very highly critical, judgmental. So a lot of black men are actually running away from black women because they're running away from their mothers. So a question that you want to ask if you're dating a black guy is ask him about his relationship with his mother. Yeah? Okay, number 2, money. Unfortunately, because black men are less educated and some, systematic prejudices, racism, discrimination, black men are not making as much money as probably they need to be. But also, they're making less money than black women. So, and this is the only kind of racial group where this happens. And so it is very hard to find a black man that is making more than you. And if that is the case, oftentimes, black men will feel emasculated and often try to humble you and control you because they don't feel like they're in financial control. So that makes it a little bit challenging when you're dealing with black men. You want to ask him what he does, right? You want to ask him, and then you want to glass door that mofo, girl. You also want to ask him how many people he manages, right? Because if he can't manage people professionally, he probably can't manage people personally. Thirdly, you want to ask about the men in his life, his mentors. A lot of black men actually don't have many mentors, so it's really weird to say and it feels very archaic, but it's very true, and it is this. A man is looking for an alpha man to kind of check him. That is kind of the orders of operation, PEMDAS, if you will, in terms of how to kind of raise a man. And so if he doesn't have mentors, a father, other elders to kind of keep him in check, he's going to be out here kind of roaming the streets like many of them are. So you want to ask him, who are his male role models and mentors? Okay. Fourthly, you have to understand something. There are 100 black women to 88 black men. So what that means is, and if you went to college, you understood this gender ratio gap. It means that oftentimes men have more power because there are fewer of them. So it means that they're going to have lower commitment rates and higher abandonment rates because they're going to have other women waiting for them, which isn't necessarily the case for black women because there's so much more of them. And if you are in a bigger city, it's going to be even worse, right? It's actually like 20-25% more black women than black men. So it makes it harder to date them. So when you're asking about kind of his commitment level, you want to ask him how many relationships he's had that has lasted more than a year. Okay? And finally, the reason why it's kind of harder to date black men is because of the micro and macro aggressions that they have to face, similar to what the aggressions that you have to face. But oftentimes, those things will lead to depression and anger for men, and they might bring it home, which can make it very hard for black women to be with them. So you want to ask them how they deal with those sorts of aggressions on a daily basis and how they manage it mentally, intellectually, emotionally. I hope this is helpful as you evaluate black men. And also, I want you to date everybody, right? I know that the biggest flex and in terms of being able to find success in your dating life is to be able to date everyone. I hope this helps as you navigate your dating journey. And if you want help with that, definitely book a call with me.
No, we're not the hardest to date. There's about 5-6 million black married couples in the United States. Next to the 50 million total black people who populate America versus 260 million white people who populate America, and about 50 million married white couples in America. So it's just not black men who are hard to date. It's everybody who's hard to date. All right. In our different forms, but black men aren't hard to date, aren't the hardest to date for black women, because then you will have to just factor in all single people and why they're not married, et cetera, et cetera. So I would suggest we stop categorizing race in boxes that anybody can fit in. That's my whole thing about this type of conversation. Stop categorizing black men and black women as if we have this special like anti-ness for cooperation with each other, as if other races aren't uncooperative with each other. Or as if we all aren't just uncooperative with each other concerning race. We see this through racism in our history in America. How are black men the hardest to date when white people have historically, their bloodline, their lineage has historically done the most diabolical, wickedest things to us as black people? We can't possibly be the hardest to date, man. But then here's another point I want to make. If I was a judgmental, biased, rude boy, right? I would say something like, well, you didn't include the LGBTQ side of black men. And I would assume by your essence and your gestures and mannerisms that you maybe are a part of the LGBTQ community, right? But this is why I'm trying to prove a point for that, right? Because there is a man on TikTok who admits that he's, I think, a bisexual. I think his name is BB. I forgot his name, but he's the brother with the dangly earrings, right? And you know what? I don't even think he's bisexual. I don't know his sexuality, just like I don't know your sexuality. But you both have a verbal essence of, more on the feminine side, right? But the man I'm speaking about, he admits that, right? And when he dates women, he, is impartial. It's not just about women alone, but he's impartial as a male in dealing with women about how they act, right? But my thing is this, when he speaks about his empirical experiences and evidence of how women are, not just black women, just women in general are, right? Women get in his comment section and call him sassy, right? And then I just look at your video and then I go into your comments and I'm just registering how you try to categorize black men into that box. And women, oh man, you speaking the truth. You know what I'm saying? They don't focus on the sassiness of your existence, your essence as a black man. But when it came to him speaking about women and how they act, you know, he's labeled sassy. But the both of you have similar essences about you. You know, when you talk, it's like feminine. You know what I'm saying? It's more softer in a sense. They call him sassy, but you are, oh man, you're talking the truth. So there's something going on with women, right? It's really something going on with women. Collectively, the consciousness is double standard in itself on a lot of topics. I think we need to focus on stuff like that. But I myself am an impartial guy. I'm impartial when I think. I am impartial when I judge topics or what people say and come out of their mouths. I'm not a biased person, but I'm very observative, right? And very observative people, when they speak on things that nobody says out loud, that's what people hate, right? People hate that subtle truth and facts that come out and observations that come out of people who are really observative, right? The nuances of what people say and how I can, differentiate between generalized points or statements versus the actual details of life, right? And I just think people such as yourself like to generalize people to gain some type of, to gain some type of cookies from a certain demographic, if you may will, if I may, okay. So from both ends of the spectrum, people are the hardest to date, right? We as people need to do better in everything.
So I am a black woman who is happily married to a very healthy and supportive black man, but I can also recognize a lot of truth in what he's saying, and I can acknowledge the statistics are real. And I will never hop on the bandwagon of like bashing all black men, and I don't think at all that that's what he's doing. He's just stating some facts, and I don't think that all black men, obviously I'm married to a black man, I don't think that all black men are terrible or not marriage material, but they are, slim. They're slim pickings, and they are few and far in between, in my opinion. They're like unicorns now. So I will always encourage black women to expand our options and date very intentionally so that you can be sure to get you a healthy and supportive partner. So that means date all men, date them all. Do not limit yourself to only black men. And I know a lot of us have this dream of black love, and I'm not saying you should discard your dream or lose all hope. But most importantly, you want a partner that is just going to love you, respect you, support you, be there for you. And, if you open up your dating pool to other options, then the odds are going to be more in your favor. That's just the reality. And my husband and I actually have these conversations about the disparity between black men and black women in the dating pool and in marriage. So, he is very cognizant of that. And I think that's a reflection of where he is as a man and what I believe it required of him to get to that point, to be able to recognize those things are accountability, our growth, our success and progress personally for him. And I'm saying that to say the black men that can be honest and truthful about the statistics, about the reality of dating amongst the black community are those unicorns. They are those men that are hard to come by, but they do exist. They exist, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, sis. Explore your options, open up your heart to potentially finding a man, no matter where he comes from, no matter what his skin complexion is. You're just wanting and you deserve a man who is just really going to love and support you in a very healthy way.
You're preaching to the choir, NY. I'm a Black woman who has dated Black men exclusively for almost 10 years now, and I have recently decided to open myself up to other races. For the longest time, I thought that my standards were just too high, and I realized recently that my standards are too high for Black men. I grew up in a two-parent household. We had Sunday dinners, we had Friday night movie night, Saturday game night, Christmases and vacations. My parents are still together to this day, and that is something that I desire for myself. I would like to have a family of my own one day, and I realized that you can't really yearn for something that you've never had. I feel like Black men, for the most part, because of mass incarceration or just general ain't shittedness, Black men have not had two-parent households. Every single Black man that I've dated over the past 10 years did not come from two-parent household. Additionally, I currently am a marketing and communications manager. I make decent money. I own my own house. I don't have any roommates. I also own a business, Harp and Hair. Check it out. However, I used to be a teacher. I left the teaching profession a year ago, and I have found that even as a teacher, I out-earned Black men. As a teacher, I out-earned almost every single Black man that I've dated. Also, I had more ambitions and more degrees. I have one degree, one bachelor's. I had more ambitions and more degrees than most of the Black men that I've dated. There are a small handful who out-degreed me and out-earned me, but for the most part, I out-earned all of them and out-degreed all of them. This is not a slight to Black men at all. I truly wish them the best, and I'm still going to continue to search for my needle in a haystack, but I'm also opening myself up to other races. I feel as though, from my perspective, many non-Black men have come from two-parent households, and they want that for themselves. They also had examples of fathers who have degrees or businesses or wealth in general, and they want that for themselves. It's very difficult for Black men to learn how to be a decent husband and father when they didn't grow up with that example in their own home.
Like, seriously, lovely, among everything he said, there are some key point things that I pick out, which I feel that women should actually, look out for, or women hoping to, date a guy or date a Black guy, even not a Black guy, but all guys in general. Let's not just generalize it like it's all about, Black guys or whatsoever. Let's just, see it as when dating, there are some key factors you have to look into before actually agreeing with dating this particular person you want to start going out with. He mentioned something about, asked about his background, like his mentor, and also how many people he has dated and how long has he ever lasted in the relationship. I want to go first with the background. Because someone's background is actually a big factor about the kind of person this person is. I think someone's background has to do with that person's personality. There are a lot of guys that had a difficult background, that had, some kind of awkward backgrounds and all of that, and in terms of the way they were brought up or the family that this particular person came from. There are so many that are brought up by a single mama, and there are so many that are brought up by two parents, like that's a man and a woman, that's the father and the mother. And like, starting from there, you are going to at least know the kind of person and what to expect when dating this person. And if something you can put through with, you can choose to go ahead with the relationship or choose not to. Because there's something about people that has been raised by a single mom, and there is something about some guys that have been raised by two parents. Guys that have been raised by a single mom have their own characteristic. also with the guys that been raised with both parents. These two people have two characters, and they should be a very big factor when dating these guys. And I will not say that those people that have been raised by a single mom turns out not to be a good spouse. No, most of them turns out to be a good spouse later on in life when they have mingled, maybe go to school, maybe established. And it all depends on the mom that raised them as well. If the mom actually instill good value and all of that, try to teach him that, okay, you are a man and this is what a man should be. There are so many single mom out there who impact a very beautiful thing into a man's life, into their son's life. They taught them how to be a man, how to care for a woman, how to just the basic things we need to learn growing up. Meanwhile, there are other mothers who also try their best, and maybe their best was not enough. Because of that, it has a negative impact in the life of this child that turns to be a husband or a boyfriend to someone that so this is all the things you have to also check out. And secondly, he mentioned something about how many relationship you've been with, like, or you've indulged yourself with, and how long did the person spend in the relationship. I think he actually made a good point in that aspect, because judging with the level at which your relationship have lasted also need to tell the kind of person you are. If you're someone that is tolerable, at least you should be able to have a decent relationship that is more than a year. So if you meet a guy and he tells you that, oh my god, okay, my girls and this particular guys always complain about their girls, or the woman in his life always been the problem. Like, that's something I noticed about some guys. When you're dating a guy, or maybe when you're going out with a guy, and this guy often tell you that the woman in his life is always the problem. I have not actually lasted in a relationship because the kind of people I'm meeting are just trash. They try to bash the women in their life, maybe try to make you feel good. You should watch out for this kind of men. This kind of men happens to be the problem in a relationship, and they are actually looking for who to ruin. This is why asking how long the relationship which they have been previously have lasted. At least a decent relationship should be able to last for like at least 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But no woman even actually want to waste time in such relationship without taking it to the next level. So these are also one thing I picked out from what he said about asking how long the person has been in a relationship. Another thing I also want to chip in is in terms of mental. He talked about mental. For men to be men, they should be mentored by someone that is like them, by a masculine person. That's why they often say that it is so nice when raising up a male child, there should be a male figure in his life, someone that he could be afraid of, someone that he can be scared of, someone that will, at least, even if someone is a single mom, the single mom should be able to have someone that the son will actually look up to, that could impact some values, to tell him that, okay, this thing you're doing is not of someone that he could be able to listen, that someone that he could run to, listen to, someone that could talk to him, trying to make him understand that this life is not a bed of roses, and as a man there are some certain things, there are some certain sacrifices, and a lot of things he mentioned. Another thing, a key factor that the second person that stitched his video was talking about, is the finance. Because of what has happened in the past, because how subjected black men has been, because of this, it made their finances not to flum, not to just the way it's supposed to be as a man. And that's why it's as if the female the black women earn more than the black guys, because this female have more of the opportunities compared with the black guys because of the high rate of rape and cis and all of that. But in times of women, I think women get more of the opportunity compared to the guys. And oftentimes I think women often go to, they have degrees, pursue their their passions and all of that, and these guys often want a shortcut, or maybe they're not interested in wasting too much time going to school and acquiring degrees and all of that. They just end up trying to make ends meet immediately, and this will limit the way at which they make these finances. So there are a lot of key factors women should look into before agreeing to date a particular person. And that doesn't mean that there are no healthy relationship. That doesn't mean that there are no healthy black relationship out there. As you can see, there is a lady that I also stitched her video who is married to a black guy, and they are in a very beautiful relationship. So it has to do with individual differences. If you can't find yourself, a black dude, that matches your own energy, is best for you to, spread your dating circle. Like, date out. Try to date other people. Try to date other races. You shouldn't limit it. If you can't find what you're actually looking for in this, phase, you can actually find it in another phase. And note, these guys are also dating outside of their race, because they find out that black women, they can actually don't they can put up with black women. So I think this, dating, spreading your legs wide dating, it's a very good idea to also implement. Anyways, guys, this is just my 2 cents. I wish you guys to also, leave your own 2 cents in the comment section. We are all here to learn. Don't forget to please subscribe to my channel if you have not done that already. And if you like some relationship kind of, stories and all of that, chat free by choices, leave a thought in the comment section, and I'll be bringing it up here for you guys. So please share this video, subscribe, and I will see you lovelies when I upload my next video.